exactly where they're probably likely to find them, and they have a lot of information on that arrest. Other people that are there that may be illegal, they'll handle by case basis.
Okay.
The concentration, I want to be clear, on some public safety threats. If more agents in the jails means less agents in the neighborhoods. That's why I'm pleading with sanctuary cities. Let us in the jail to arrest the bad guy. That way you're not forcing in the community. So, if you go to an immigrant community and ask them, would you rather have ICE operating in your local jails, or would you want them in the community? What do you think they're going to say? They don't want bad criminal aliens in their neighborhoods either. So let us work with the jails. Let us work with law enforcement. Sanctuary cities are not safe for the immigrant community. They're not safe for our officers.
Okay.
This is the latest interview of Tom Homan, incoming Trump Border Czar, saying he will address immigration on day one. So let's watch it together. You don't want to miss it.
Well, this administration, what they claim is a huge deportation number this year. Actually, if you drill into the numbers, about 80% of those numbers are actually Border Patrol arrests that the enforcement removal operation of ICE process and move back across the border. They weren't internal enforcement arrests. If you look at the historic number of illegal entries the last 4 years, ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, has the lowest number of deportations in the history of the agency. So they're playing a numbers game, just like they play the numbers game and the number of people coming across the border.
Okay.
So even though they claim we got the highest number of deportations, look at those deportations, who actually made those arrests, who actually removed those people. It's not ICE.
Okay, it's still a higher number than the Trump administration, but I want to ask you, for the incoming Trump administration, what's the measure? It is not deportations at the border. You're saying you are going to measure success by people who are already internal in the country to deport. That's how you're going to measure it. And what's that figure?
Yeah, keep in mind that Biden administration let in millions of illegal immigrants into the country. And now Trump, to fix this, only has 4 years, basically. This is the term of his presidency. So if he wants to fix it, he will have to deport millions of illegals every single year as well. So I'm not sure if that's actually possible, how much it's going to cost, and what does he need, actually, how many agents he needs to accomplish that. Maybe Tom Homan has an answer. Let's hear it.
Well, again, let's get the numbers straight. You say they're higher than Trump administration. It isn't about how many get deported, because Trump had illegal border crossings at a 45-year low. So, of course, removal is going to be lower. The number is how many were released into the United States that are now in the country illegally. Under Biden administration, we have millions of people released in the United States who have lost their hearings, and we have millions of people that are released in the United States despite a statute saying that you cannot be released in the United States without proper documentation. You shall be detained. So you can compare the numbers of deportations under Trump versus Biden, but when you consider a 45-year low in crossings, of course the number of deportations is going to be lower, because we don't have that population to process and deport.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to measure success going forward. For day one, can you help us understand what the plan is? A number of industries in this country hire undocumented workers because they are cheap labor. On day one, are you going to restart raids on work sites, on construction sites?
The President Trump's been clear, as I've been clear from day one, that President is going to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats. And have you heard from your previous segments?
I think it's good. I think it's good that he's focusing on public safety threat and national security threats first. That's the most dangerous. That's exactly what the government is supposed to do, protect its citizens.
We have a huge national security issue in this country. The southwest border has become the biggest national security vulnerability we've seen in this nation. FBI Director Wray agrees with me. We know there's people in this country who pose a national security threat. They've arrested a record number of people on the terrorist watch list, a 3,500% increase in people on the terrorist watch list being arrested at the border. We got over 2 million known gotaways. We know 2 million people crossed the border, weren't arrested, weren't vetted, weren't fingerprinted. So you got to ask yourself, why did 2 million people pay more to get away? Why didn't they pay less, turn themselves into Border Patrol, get a free airline ticket to the city of their choice, get a free hotel room, get 3 meals a day, get free medical care?
I'm not disputing that it is a hemisphere-wide crisis. We're talking about how you're going to deal with it. That's why I'm asking you, when you say criminals, does that mean you are going to go into already existing prisons at local level and deport people who are in those prisons? Are you going to go to workforces? I mean, how do you know where the criminals are, I guess is the question. And if they're working at a work site, are you going to show up to surprise them?
Well, look, we know where a lot of the criminals are. ICE they're great at this work. We know where some are, but they simply haven't been able to go arrest them because of Secretary Mayorkas' priorities. It handcuffed ICE. So we know where a lot of criminals are. They've been prevented from arresting that we're going to arrest starting day one. As far as being in jails and prisons, we would love to work in local jails, but sanctuary cities won't allow us into those jails. It's much easier to arrest a public safety threat and the safety and security of public jail than out in the street, because the officer is safer that way, the alien is safer that way, the community is safer that way. But sanctuary cities who continue to release public safety threats back in the community, to the immigrant community, it puts that community at greater risk of crime. And here's what's going to happen when we go to the community and find that person, find that criminal alien, he's probably going to be with others will have to arrest. So it's not safe for the community, not safe for the officers, not safe for anybody.
I think he's 100% right about that one. I think Homan is a great pick by Trump to be the next Border Czar and take care of illegal immigration once and for all. He's been doing this, working as an ICE agent for most of his life, and he knows exactly what he's talking about.
Let us arrest a bad guy in the jail cell where you chose to arrest somebody and put him in a jail cell because obviously he's a public safety threat.
Okay. What you just said in there, it sounded like you were talking about collateral arrests. So you're going to target people you know are criminals, but if they happen to be living in a house where there are other undocumented people, you're going to sweep them up too. That's what I think you were just saying there. I wonder how you're going to parse out some of those collateral arrests. For example, will dreamers be protected? Donald Trump has said he wants to work with Democrats to protect them and give them status. That takes a long time in Congress. What do you do in the meantime? How do you make sure they're not caught up in a dragnet?
Look, every person ICE arrests, they do what we call a fugitive operations spreadsheet. They know exactly who they're going to arrest. They know exactly where they're probably likely to find them, and they have a lot of information on that arrest. Other people that are there that may be illegal, they'll handle by case basis.
Okay.
The concentration, I want to be clear, on some public safety threats. If more agents in the jails means less agents in the neighborhoods. That's why I'm pleading with sanctuary cities. Let us in the jail to arrest the bad guy. That way you're not forcing in the community. So, if you go to an immigrant community and ask them, would you rather have ICE operating in your local jails, or would you want them in the community? What do you think they're going to say? They don't want bad criminal aliens in their neighborhoods either. So let us work with the jails. Let us work with law enforcement. Sanctuary cities are not safe for the immigrant community. They're not safe for our officers.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's completely wild, completely insane to me that sanctuary cities actually exist. What is the purpose of sanctuary cities, honestly? Instead of making sanctuary cities, you should definitely provide the necessary care and need for these people to go back to where they came from, honestly.
So that's like Secure Communities Act kind of action. But then where do you send people? Because some of these countries like Venezuela don't accept deportations right now. Mexico's president indicated her country might be willing to receive non-Mexican migrants who are deported. How does that work? Does the U.S. pay Mexico to then ship those people off somewhere else?
Well, first of all, we got President Trump coming in the Oval Office, and he's proven during his first administration his leadership on illegal immigration was a game changer because, for instance, El Salvador wouldn't take back MS-13 members when I was the ICE director. It took President Trump 48 hours.
Yeah, so right now he's just avoiding the question. He doesn't have the answer. He's basically waiting for Trump to get into the White House and give the instruction. He's probably going to need a lot of agents and a lot of money to deport that many people in 4 years, honestly. We will see what happens.
Take back their criminal aliens into their prisons. And Mexico didn't want to do the Remain in Mexico program, but President Trump was able to get Remain in Mexico established in Mexico. He was able to get Mexico put military in the southern and northern border. President Trump's a strong president. This administration has not forced these countries to take them back. And we have what we call a third safe country. We already have countries talking about taking back people from other countries. If for instance, Venezuela don't want to take their people back, there's other ways we can do it. There's other countries be willing to accept them. We're hoping that President Trump will work with Venezuela and like he did with Mexico and El Salvador and get these countries taken back. If they don't, they're still going to be deported. They're just going to be deported to a different country. We're not going to be held up on removing public safety threats in this country. We got to put the safety of the American people first. We've had too many young women murdered and raped and burned alive by members of Venezuelan gangs. They need to be a priority under this administration. They're going to be a priority starting day one, and they will be deported.
We will
I think it's good. I think it's good that it is focusing on public safety and national security. That's what people are expecting from their government, from the Trump administration. I think it's the primary job of the government to provide safety and security for its people. Let me know what you think about this in the comment. Do you think Trump's Border Czar Homan is gonna be able to deport that many illegals in such a short period of time? We will see. If not, he can always start the job and let it finish later in the next 4 years. We will see what happens in 2028 if the Democrats can actually fix their mistakes and do better to get elected or not, or if the Republicans are gonna win. We will see. The 2028 election is probably gonna be wild as well. We will report it all right there on the channel. Thanks for watching and staying with me. I appreciate you being here as always. Click right there to watch the next video and I will see you there. Bye bye.